Welcome everybody, Franklin Township Board of Trustees, April the 2nd, 2026, 6 p.m. regular meeting. Now would be a good time to please silence your cell phones. If you find it necessary to have a conversation with somebody in the audience, please step out into the foyer to do so, and you can come back in. Byron, would you like to give us an opening prayer, sir?
Yes. Father God in heaven, Lord, we thank you for this day of life. Lord, I just ask that you put your hand over us, keep us safe, be with each and every one of us and our families. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Jan, sorry.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's nice to have a full room, hear that. You want to do it before roll call or you want to do it?
How about we do it?
Okay, perfect. Can I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Gordon.
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
And I'd like make a motion to adopt today's agenda.
I will second that emotion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Gordon.
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
Okay. Joe, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you would come up to the podium and introduce yourself, and I'm going to say your team, and we'll go from there. So
Sounds great.
turn it over to you.
Good evening, trustees and community. My name is Joe Mazzola, Health Commissioner, Franklin County Public Health. It's great to be here this evening. Appreciate the opportunity to join you. Thank you for the invitation to talk about our mosquito management program here that we have at Franklin County Public Health. I'm joined by two of my colleagues from the Health Department, Charlie Beauchart, our Division Manager for Environmental Health, and Zach Colbert-Watson, our Supervisor for Community Environmental Health. Those two are really the experts. We're going to give a brief presentation to the board, and certainly be available to answer any questions that you may have. I understand there were some questions from residents, and we always want to be responsive to those questions and any concerns that you may have about the program. We're very proud of how our program continues to evolve and make sure that we continue to be evidence-based and data-driven, so we can be responsive to the needs of our entire community. And so with that, I think there's a presentation that might be available.
Perfect.
So I don't know, Charlie, if you want to lead up with a few remarks and then Zach, or if we wanted to just turn it right over to Zach.
Well, for the sake of time, we'll let Zach go ahead and start presenting. I've been with public health for 29 years. I've been involved with the mosquito control program for close to 20 of it, if not more. You've seen it grow and evolve, and we do take pride in what we do and how we build that relationship with the communities we serve. And you're going to see how we develop this program, and Zach's been a huge part of that growth and management of the program.
Can that be focused in a little bit better? It seems blurry.
Nicole, just turn out that other light. Okay. Because this light's on, I think we'll be fine.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
And will this control the slide?
I'll get a copy of this sometime for anybody that wants to look at it at a later point. I can send it to you.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Just the arrows?
Nicole, he wants to know how to use the remote.
Just hit the side arrow.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, so as Commissioner Mazzola mentioned, my name is Zach Colbert-Watson. I'm the Community Environmental Health Supervisor at Franklin County Public Health, and the Mosquito Management Program is one of the programs I oversee. And joining me are Joe Mazzola and Charlie Beauchart as well. So, just a little background on mosquitoes. Ohio has nearly 60 different species of mosquitoes. The life cycle is pretty much the same for all of them, but there are variations in preferred habitat and habit. The common mosquito-borne diseases in Ohio are West Nile virus and lacrosse virus. The reason that it's important how many different species we have is that only certain species can transmit viruses. West Nile virus is the leading cause of mosquito-borne disease in the continental U.S., and it is the #1 reported arboviral disease. An arbovirus is a virus transmitted by an arthropod, so a mosquito, a tick, anything little with jointed legs like that. Most people who are infected will experience no or very mild symptoms, but about 1 in 150 people who are infected will develop severe neurological symptoms. Think swelling of the brain or spinal cord, and that can cause complications like coma, seizures, and it can be fatal. People with weakened immune systems or people who are 60 years of age or older are at the highest risk. And about 1 in 10 people who develop severe illness will unfortunately pass away. Usually it's only the severe cases that get reported to the local health department, because if people are only a little bit sick, they don't go to the doctor most of the time. The risk of transmission is highest, of course, in late summer and early autumn, when there has been the most time for the virus to amplify in the bird population and then be transmitted to people. Lacrosse virus is the other major mosquito-borne illness in Ohio, and Ohio consistently reports more human cases of lacrosse virus than any other state in the U.S. Again, most people who are infected will not experience symptoms. However, more than 75% of cases of lacrosse virus occur in children. About half of the children who are hospitalized with lacrosse virus will experience seizures, and about 15% of the children hospitalized with lacrosse virus will go on to develop epilepsy. So very serious long-term effects from this virus as well. Again, it's really only the severe cases that get reported to the local health department, so there are probably vastly more people exposed every year than we actually hear about, because those mild cases just never get reported. And the risk, again, is highest in late summer and early autumn. So last year, there were 98 human cases of locally acquired mosquito-borne illness across the state of Ohio. 45 of them were West Nile virus, that is more than double the 10-year average. 53 of them were lacrosse virus, that is also more than double the 10-year average. It is a record number of human cases of lacrosse virus. The previous record was 52, and it had been long-standing for decades. So these illnesses are not going away. However, because of programs like ours, we are able to do the best job at prevention that is possible. So there were 45 human cases of West Nile virus across the state of Ohio. 1 of them was in Franklin County's jurisdiction. Similarly, there were 53 human cases of lacrosse virus. 1 of them was in Franklin County's jurisdiction. I take that to mean that our program is doing what it's supposed to do, preventing illness. Those 53 human cases of lacrosse virus, I mentioned that more than 75% of total reported cases are in children. Every single one of those 53 human cases was in a child under 18 years old. More than half of them were in children aged 5 to 9. So imagine getting bitten by a mosquito when you're a very small child and then having seizures the rest of your life because of it. So very serious. The way we prevent that mosquito-borne illness is through integrated pest management. IPM is a comprehensive approach to preventing and controlling pests when they are at their most vulnerable, and it also minimizes hazards to the environment. It's got 4 basic steps, and we're going to go through each of them. First, we want to monitor and identify pests, and we do that with a really robust surveillance network. So we've got dozens of sites all across the county at which we set 3 different types of traps every week from the middle of May through the end of September. The gravid trap on the left targets Culex mosquitoes. Those are the ones that transmit West Nile virus, and we also test those mosquitoes in-house to see if they're infected. The CDC light trap will target all host-seeking mosquitoes. It gives us a really good idea of what the different kinds of mosquitoes are that are active and how many there are. So that really informs our nuisance mosquito prevention program. And then we also have the BG Sentinel trap that targets invasive species like Aedes albopictus and Aedes aegypti. Those 2 are capable of transmitting diseases like dengue, chikungunya, Zika virus, and yellow fever. We don't currently have any of those diseases in Ohio, but we do have mosquitoes that are capable of transmitting them. So if the virus were to arrive, we would suddenly be at risk of those illnesses as well. All mosquitoes trapped are taken back to our lab. They are counted and identified. Like I said, the Culex mosquitoes will be tested for West Nile virus using a rapid analyte measurement platform, and that allows us to give you same-day results when we detect an infection. And any samples that we can't test are sent to the Ohio Department of Health for testing, and ODH will also test mosquitoes for lacrosse virus, so we can find out if any of those are infected as well. Last year, we trapped around 128,000 mosquitoes total, and around 5,000 of them were from Franklin Township.
Did you say 5,000?
Yes, 5,000 of the mosquitoes that we collected were from Franklin Township.
Do you know the results on those?
The test results? Yeah, this was supposed to have a graph on the slide, and it does not, so my bad. We did have 824 total positive West Nile virus samples last year. 38 of those were from Franklin Township. The average number of positives per city, village, or township was 24, so Franklin was a little bit above average. But that 824 total West Nile positives was a record, and it absolutely smashed the previous record. It was more than 30% higher than the previous record, which was set in 2018, and it was about triple the 10-year average. So again, just to emphasize that these illnesses are not going away, but our ability to prevent serious disease does seem to be crazy. Hopefully the graph will show up on the printed version of the slides that you look at. So once we've identified the pest, we need to take measures to prevent them from becoming a threat, and that is where the control really comes in. As with all things, prevention is best, and the most effective way to control the mosquito population is to deny them spaces to breed. So we do that by providing public education and also by engaging in source reduction. That means removing sources of standing water wherever we can. We've got a picture of a bird bath on the slide. If you dump out your bird bath once or twice a week, it won't breed mosquitoes. If you can make sure that your gutters are clean and not clogged, they won't hold water, and mosquitoes won't be able to breed in there either. And then the billboard is just a photo of a public education campaign that we did a few years ago. If we can't avoid standing water, because we can't always, treating it with a larvicide will control the mosquitoes when they are still at their most vulnerable stage. There are some photos of larval mosquitoes hanging out in water on that slide. And it also doesn't have any effect on any non-target organisms. We only treat water if we see larvae. We don't just go spreading it about wherever. And that the active ingredient is something called Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis, BTI. And it is a naturally occurring soil bacteria that is fatal to certain kinds of fly larvae. Mosquitoes are a type of fly. And it has essentially no effect on any other living thing documented. Sometimes there are gaps. Adult mosquitoes get infected, and we need to respond to the infected adult mosquitoes or just to very, very high abundance of mosquitoes. And that's where we have set action thresholds at which we employ specific control measures. So the action thresholds that we have for our disease management program are when we find West Nile virus positive mosquitoes. We know that there is severe risk of exposure to West Nile virus when we find those infected mosquitoes. And for the nuisance mosquito program, it's when we find 75 or more mosquitoes from a single trap on a single night. And that number is based on long-term evaluation of what those types of traps typically catch. After we spray, we always measure the effectiveness of our spraying by setting another trap the night after an area has been sprayed, not just in the area that was sprayed, but also in a nearby area that was not treated, so we can use that as a kind of control and make a comparison between the two. On average, the effectiveness of our adult mosquito treatments hovers around 40%, which is typical for a mosquito management program like ours. So the ultra-low volume spraying by truck is probably the most visible portion of the program, but it is by no means the primary function of the program. I've talked a lot about the other aspects of it, and the goal of spraying is not to have long-term effects on the mosquito population. It is to interrupt the disease transmission cycle by killing the mosquitoes that are currently flying around infected. This is based on guidance from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the American Mosquito Control Association, and the World Health Organization. They all acknowledge spraying for mosquitoes as the best way to interrupt that transmission cycle and prevent human disease. We also publish post-spray maps the day after an area is sprayed, and those maps show the exact location of the truck at any point in time, whether the sprayer was turned on or off at each point, why the decision to spray was made, the total volume of product applied, and the total area treated. I apologize, it's very hard to see in this slide, but that is an example of a post-spray map from the southern part of Franklin Township last year. And if the resolution on that image were better, you would see that we applied about 9.5 gallons total of product over 1,100 acres. That 9.5 gallons of applied product does not mean 9.5 gallons of active ingredient. The active ingredient in the product is not, it doesn't make up the full amount, and we also dilute the product before it's applied. So that 9.5 gallons equates to about 4 pounds of active ingredient total. So 4 pounds over 1,100 acres, that is equivalent to about a quarter teaspoon over a football field. So it's very, very small amounts of active ingredient. That product we use is called Permanone 3030, and the active ingredient is called permethrin. Permethrin is a synthetic version of a compound that is naturally found in chrysanthemums and related flowers. And permethrin was first registered with the Environmental Protection Agency as an insecticide in 1979. And it has been used continuously since then. So we're talking about nearly 50 years of use. In addition to being used continuously, it's also being continuously evaluated by the EPA to make sure that its use is safe and effective, that it continues to do what we think it does the way we think that it works. Permethrin is registered in around 1,400 different commercial products, and that's not just mosquito sprays. It is also clothing and gear that has been designed to be insect repellent for camping. It is in flea and tick topical treatments for dogs. It is in head lice shampoos and in lotions to combat scabies infestations. So permethrin is also on the World Health Organization's list of essential medicines because of its utility in treating things like head lice and scabies. And I think in a lot of cases, when we talk about pesticides, we have the assumption that if a compound is bad for bugs, it must be bad for people too. And the data really doesn't show that that's the case. Permethrin has, like I said, been studied continuously since the 70s, and it's been demonstrated to have very low toxicity. If you do happen to be exposed to it, it's got very low absorption, so it isn't really taken in by your body. And the amount that is taken in is very quickly metabolized, and then it just passes right through in your normal excretory processes. Some longer-term studies have never found any evidence of chronic health effects from permethrin exposure. There's no evidence of carcinogenicity, that's the ability to cause cancer, so permethrin is not associated with any cancer. And there's also no evidence of teratogenicity, that is the possibility of causing birth defects when a pregnant person is exposed. So there's none of that either. I think it's really worth keeping in mind that mosquitoes and humans are very, very different biochemically. We don't respond the same way to different chemicals as each other.
Zach, I'm sorry to interrupt, but could you go back a slide and just talk about the process of when we decide, when we decide to do, deciding the process of engaging with the township before we move forward?
Yeah, of course. So when we have detected West Nile positive mosquitoes, when we have found that the abundance of mosquitoes is above that threshold that I mentioned, you guys get contacted right away. So Nicole is also on that list. I understand that your administrator, Mr. Mazer, retired last year, but he was as well. U3 will be added as well before the season gets going. So I send a message saying, this is what we found, this is what we would like to do, spray, and this is the night that we're looking at doing it, and we wait for your confirmation. We don't just run out and do it immediately. We make sure that you guys are part of the process, that you're engaged in it, and that you have an opportunity to give feedback. So that's what that process looks like.
And that's the process we use for all of our townships and cities that we serve.
Yes.
We always get permission first from the local jurisdictional partner before we move forward.
Yes, and if this is not a decision that you feel you want to make, you are, of course, welcome to designate anyone from the township to be included in that messaging and authorize them to make that decision on your behalf as well.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Jim, does it not, did it come from Mr. Mazer or did it come from you in the past? We've been notified. Did you notify us or did?
Yeah, a lot of times I would send Zach, I think it was, I'd send him an email because they would get it to us and say, they found so many bat mosquitoes in certain traps and they wanted to spray in certain areas. So I would say it's fine to go, or Steve would do it, either one, then I would contact her.
I know I was always notified, so that's it. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to close just with a little thought exercise. Garlic, delicious, right? We all love it. Very common in many cuisines all across the world. Garlic is an antioxidant, so it's good for our health. It's antimicrobial, so it can help prevent infections, and it's anti-inflammatory. It can help reduce some of that inflammation response that we might have from chronic inflammatory conditions or allergic responses, that kind of thing. But that only applies to humans. A very small amount of garlic can be fatal to dogs. Humans and dogs, humans and mosquitoes. I would think that humans and dogs are a lot more similar, right? But it doesn't necessarily hold that something that's really good for us is good even for animals that are pretty similar. So I want us to just kind of keep that in mind when we're thinking about insecticides, especially things that are bad for bugs, not necessarily any impact at all on people. Scanning that QR code will take you right to our website. The URL is also there if you would prefer to type it in. Our website has information on our management plan and the products we use. It's got tips for preventing mosquitoes around your home. It's got information about the different kinds of mosquitoes we have in Ohio and the diseases that they can transmit. It's got resources that you can use on your social media or in your community groups if you would like. And it also is where we post all our surveillance data. So all the trap numbers, the results of the West Nile virus testing, and our post-spray maps, if you're ever interested in looking at those, as well as our spraying schedule. Check it out if you have time, and that is supposed to be easier to read again. But yeah, Zach Holbert-Watson, Charlie Groter, Joe Mazzola, please reach out with any questions.
Can you just quickly explain the opt-out process?
Yes. Also on our website, there is a form for our Do Not Spray registry. So if you want the spray truck shut off in front of your property, all you have to do is fill out that form, and we will exclude your property and a 150-foot buffer around your parcel boundaries. And the sprayer on the truck will be shut off inside that buffer. So that 150-foot buffer is to account for product drift so that nothing gets on your land.
So on the mosquitoes on the West Nile, we go through winters, it's cold and etc. Do you understand how the mosquitoes, the West Nile, start? Do we start off with a clean slate and somehow the mosquitoes come from somewhere else? I mean,
That's a really fascinating question. We know that the Culex mosquitoes, they overwinter in things like culverts as adults. So all those adult mosquitoes will fly into culverts and kind of just huddle together and almost hibernate until springtime when they come out and they start biting again, they start laying eggs in whatever water there is. As far as whether the virus survives in the mosquitoes over winter, we're not really sure. We know that when we first start trapping mosquitoes early in the spring, it's very unusual for us to have any positives. So that kind of indicates that the virus might not survive. There is a professor at OSU, Dr. Megan Moody, who is currently engaged in research in both urban and rural areas here in Franklin County and also in Lucas County, the Toledo area, where she is collecting not just mosquito samples, but also wild birds and testing them for West Nile virus to get a better understanding of how the virus survives the winter. So I'd be happy to reach out to her, get more information on that, and report back.
One last question.
Yeah.
When was the first time we realized West Nile in Ohio?
Oh, the first human case of West Nile virus in Ohio, I want to say 2002.
Yeah, 2001, 2002.
So that somehow made it across the United States, across Ohio and on. Is that pretty much how it was a wave?
Yeah, so the first human case in the US, I believe, was reported in New York in 1999. And by 2003, 2004, it was endemic across the entire country. And good luck eradicating it. It's kind of just here now.
Anything, Brenda?
I do have a question. So, I guess I don't understand you're not wanting to kill off all of the mosquitoes. You're just wanting to study them, I guess.
So it's we want to kill the mosquitoes that are currently flying infected adults. That's the goal of the adulticide part of the program. And the reason for that is because the volume of pesticide application that it would take to actually eradicate mosquitoes is untenable. It would have pretty enormous ecological impacts that we aren't prepared to grapple with. I mentioned that we use a very, very small amount of pesticide, and that's really just to kill those most dangerous mosquitoes. In order to get all of them, it would require an enormous volume of pesticide, like I said, ecological impacts that we do not want to initiate. And also, I mentioned that the adult Culex mosquitoes overwinter in culverts. Imagine actually getting people to go down into culverts and spray the interiors of culverts to get rid of every mosquito. And that's just one of the 60 species that we have. They all have slightly different habits and habitats.
So what's the percentage that you kill with this?
It's about a 40% reduction in population in the short term. We are also doing larval treatments, so we're doing our best to keep the population from really exploding by getting at them when they're still larvae. But again, mosquitoes will breed in any volume of water wherever they can find it. And the larval treatments really kind of have to be done on foot. So imagine like temporary pools of water along railroad tracks and having somebody walk all along the entire length of railroad tracks across the county, treating each little puddle for mosquitoes, and then coming back to do it every 2 weeks because the product doesn't last forever.
So another question I have is, you said that we can go online and opt out in front of our house, and then it's a 150-foot buffer on either side.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Well, I know that when they come down my road, I live on a dead end, they're just continuously spraying as they back up and everything and come back toward my house. So are they going to shut it off again?
So what should be happening, and I'd be happy to sit down and look at some maps with you if that's what you would like. What should be happening is they should only be spraying one way on the street. So if you live on a dead end, they should be coming down with the sprayer off, and then when they leave, it should be
Well,
on.
what they're doing is when they're turning around, there's a road like that runs into my driveway, but they turn left because they don't shut it off, and then they turn left onto that road and then go down to the next road and do it. So they don't shut it off after they pass my house.
Okay. I will have a discussion with the sprayers and make sure that they are honoring every do not spray request, because that's not acceptable.
And I can tell you that I have gotten sick because of those chemicals. So, and then, but I'm on medicines, you know, like most Americans, you know, but maybe it's a combination of that with my medicine.
It is possible that you had an allergic reaction as well.
Okay.
So we definitely want to make sure that we are looking into that, and we have maps that we can show you of how that spraying went. And we, as Zach mentioned, we'll make sure that if it's not occurring the way that it should, we will definitely address it. But I think that's where we want to make sure that we always send the local township a map after the spraying to make sure that you have that visibility, so you can compare, you know, what happened in real life, if you will. Is that represented on the map accurately? We want to make sure that we're responsive to those questions and concerns.
And see, I grow my own food. I do not use pesticides. And that has helped me to overcome some of my ailments by growing my own food organically. But, you know, you can't control the, you know, this thing that you're spraying.
Well, please do reach out to me again about
You don't have any
the
questions?
specifics of the situation.
Quick.
The product
Is
is,
it my understanding that you're only going to spray where the West
Here
Nile
we go.
virus is? Or you're going to be spraying all over?
so we have the county broken up into zones, and each zone has a set of traps. If we detect West Nile virus or have a very high abundance of mosquitoes in any of the zones, the whole zone will be sprayed. So Franklin Township is divided into two zones, a north and a south. Charlie, do you know off the top of your head what the dividing line is?
I don't, because we kind of change those depending on,
Sullivan?
yeah, I mean, for the most part, they remain the same, and sometimes
Yeah.
I think it might actually be Sullivan.
It might be Sullivan. You could look on the map to figure that out.
Does anybody else in the audience have any questions? Hearing none.
I'll just email them out to you.
Perfect.
So we can move on.
I just want to say thank you again for having us this
Thanks.
evening. You know, we are your local health department.
Thank you
We're
for
here.
coming.
We're here to keep this community healthy. We would never do anything that would jeopardize the health of this community. And we want to, as Zach outlined, we are taking enormous steps to make sure that we are being proactive to prevent any illness, and that's our goal. That's our mission. And with the partnership with the township, you know, we want to continue to do that. So we thank you for your time.
It was nice to meet you, and sorry for the rush, but again, we have no control over the
Thank you very,
agenda.
very much for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I think you did a very good,
Oh,
I think you explained it very well. That was very good, the way you brought it in. He's good.
Please let us know what we can do.
Yep, thanks again. So we're going to move on. So it'd be, anybody have any public comments tonight? If you do, we'd ask you to come to the podium, and you have 3 minutes to address the trustees. Is there anybody?
You don't have to walk all the way out.
You really don't, hon.
Good.
Go ahead from right there, state your name.
Carol Schoonover, 1905 Ray. I have a question. The feasibility, or are there grants that could be written for to obtain the piece of equipment, and don't ask me the name of it, but it's used for high brush areas, things like that? Or what the cost of something like that would be, which would be beneficial to our township fellows? especially like with some of the township land, things like that, to cut down on the amount of places for homeless camping and things like that, and which adds to the trash, which draws mosquitoes and the illegal dumping and things like that. And I'm just curious if anybody has investigated the cost of a rental to do some property, the total cost if we purchase one, or is there any grants that could be written for that?
Okay, Carol, thank you. I think Jim's probably the best person that can address it, Jim.
Yeah, Carol, we are currently because you're probably talking about the parcel at the end of Ray Avenue at Whitethorn.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting pricing
One
right
of them.
now. Yeah, one of them. We're currently getting pricing right now. The piece of equipment is called a Forester. And what that does is it comes in and it literally just cleans everything down to the ground. It is actually an attachment for a skid steer, which we are working with Mr. Kirby right now. Within our budget, we've had money set aside for a piece of equipment with a skid steer. So I'm working with Mr. Kirby to see whether or not we can get that worked into the budget this year. We have it in the plans, but Ryan's also working on seeing about renting a skid steer and renting the Forester, because we've been talking with Detective Dan, as I like to call him, about that parcel up there at the end of the road there.
Can I ask another question on that then? Is that going to create a problem if that opens up to where they're cutting and not rounding the actual corner, that they will use that as a cut through? And now that is, and are there other properties to where that piece of equipment would be beneficial to the township?
Well, as far as the Forester, it's not a piece of equipment that would be financially economical per se. That would be something that we would be better off just renting on an as-needed basis. But the other equipment that I was talking about is something that we've had in the works for a couple of years, and I think that we will possibly be able to get that taken care of. That way we have a piece of equipment that we can rent to attach to that.
Is that like a?
Hold on, Barry. Hold up, sir. We're not going to bounce back and forth here. We got an agenda to try to keep on, so.
Carol, did that help out at all? Okay.
You want to, go ahead, Barry, ask Jim your question.
Is that a piece of equipment like a bush hog?
It's like a bush hog, Barry, but it's 10 times tougher per se, because it can literally eat trees that are up to 6 to 8 inches and take it directly down to the ground.
Okay, thank you. I'm closing the floor. Jim, you're up to bat, sir. Byron, there's no one here from the Sheriff's Department, is there? So, Jim?
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, can I have a few minutes? I'd like to give Jim Stevens and his crew accommodation for what he's been doing.
I'm gonna go to the audience. Just as soon as he gets done, you can have a few minutes then. How's that?
I'm finished. Wow. Thank you, Jim.
No, you get to, I'm going to come back to you just as soon as Jim gets done with his presentation. I'm not cutting you off. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. On the agenda that you have, as far as department updates, we're in the process right now of getting all of our equipment together and getting everything ready for grass cutting, because I think that's coming quicker than we know. We're still in the process right now of looking at a replacement for one of our guys to get us up to the amount that we've had. And we're also looking at our summer help, because that's right around the corner. Update on the electric door locks for Solomon Avenue. I think I reported that all of the electricians already come in and ran the electric. They ran the data cable. Everything is ready to go. So we've pretty much done our part of it. I think now, I think whoever's doing the rest of the project, they're ready. So whenever that's ready. The only other thing I had, and this kind of came up today, I got an email. It's hard to believe it's this time of year, but it's time to get into the 2026-2027 ODOT salt contract. So what I need, we can wait until the next meeting. I don't need a resolution or anything. It's simply a motion to start the contract process as we do every year. And I just have a sheet here, it's their bid award. We don't know, I'm gonna go in for 200 ton again. That seemed to be a pretty good number in with what we have left. Hopefully we don't have to use a whole lot that we've got left the rest of the season. But we don't have a price on it, we never do until they figure out exactly how many tonnage every entity needs, and then they put it all out to bid. But this is the first process of just doing the contract award and to pass a motion to go into contract with ODOT.
And it can wait till the next meeting, or you need a motion tonight?
As long as I've got it to them by 5 o'clock on May 1st.
So, sir,
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion.
Sure,
that
go
we
ahead.
Allow Mr. Stevens to move forward in regards to the salt contract to get adequate numbers.
I'll second it. Can we get any discussion, Brenda? Can we get a roll call?
Trustee Fishman,
Yes.
trustee Levin,
Yes.
trustee Phillips.
Yes.
And that's pretty much it right now.
Okay, I got a couple quick questions for you, and then I'm gonna let Barry, if the other two trustees. Do you know what's going on with the flagpole at the cemetery?
We got a flagpole that's broke, we're looking at completely replacing that.
Okay, it's on
Yeah, we
there.
gotta put a lot stronger one in there. This last wind just,
So it's on the agenda?
yes.
Okay, and then I spoke to you in the wintertime about blacktopping part of that turnaround on Ransburg. Is that in the plans of getting taken care of?
The asphalt plant that we were using down the road here caught fire.
Okay,
So we were limited to where we could actually get asphalt, but the asphalt plant's now on McKinley's now starting to get opened up, so now we can actually start addressing. We've had to buy some asphalt in bags here lately, just to even do potholes. So yeah, now that the asphalt plants are opening back up, we should be able to get it all done.
perfect. And then lastly, I want to be able to give this gentleman an answer. Maybe you've got it done, I didn't look today. The handicap sign on Ransburg, it's done? Perfect.
Yeah, that was kind of a funny one. Ryan and Joey went down there today and they actually put it in the yard right next door instead of the other one. So somebody came out and said, hey, it's supposed to be over here. And I even give them a map and showed them.
Perfect. I don't have anything else, Brenda. John?
I do, sir.
Good.
Do we have any idea which Strouser, in order to do this, the calming devices in the two locations?
Still waiting on Clay to get back to me. I've emailed him. I even reached out to Mr. Leisure because he has a friendship with them. And I've asked Mr. Leisure to please get a hold of Clay and let him know that I've emailed him. I need to get some kind of information back. So hopefully as soon as they can do that. Apparently he's been, from what I've been told, he's been extremely busy with this roundabout down here on Frank Road.
The stop signs for,
We've got them all put together out here in the shop, when they went down there today. These stop signs, what we were kind of worried about, and Ryan went down today and did some measurements, these are 36-inch stop signs instead of 30-inch. So we were kind of worried that where the placement of the existing signposts, last thing we want to do is have somebody come down with a truck or a big mirror, and, well, it should be higher than the mirror, but to have a truck clip it. Ryan seems to think that we'll be fine. There's a couple of them that we will have to move. But yeah, we've got everything put together in the shop now. Now it's just a matter of getting them up and putting them anchoring them.
so can you just put an L bracket, like a lot of those you can bolt through the, the sign, just make them 6 inches over, 8 inches over, and then come back up and put it on, so it would go like this.
The way that they mount, the way it has to mount onto the post itself, we would either have to, some of the posts, we will be able to use, the existing posts we will be able to use. We have to put an extension on the top of them to actually hold the solar panel.
Okay.
I think 2 of them, Ryan said today, that we're actually going to have to pull and move over in order to do it. Yeah, we really couldn't put an L bracket on the axle. You'd have a post come up and then.
By the time you build it and did it, you could just remove,
Yeah.
you move it over.
It's a lot quicker for
Got
us
it.
to do it that way than to
Sure.
build new brackets. But yeah,
Sure.
it's all, everything's put together and.
You had a question at the last meeting about the signs going on the insurance. Did you get that
Yeah,
checked
I
out?
sent
Is
the
it's on?
information. Yes.
Great. Okay, that just came to my mind. I didn't even have that wrote down. Brenda, did you have anything?
I do. I want to say thank you for all your hard work. And, today's a very special day for you.
Yes, it is.
And
It is. Uh-huh.
And it is.
Just another day.
Birthday to
I would like
you.
everybody to join me in singing happy birthday to Mr. Jim Stevens. And I'm sorry, it's
Ready? And happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Jim. Happy birthday to you.
And then
Well, thank
Bringing
you.
my violin next year.
Just
All
write
right.
this date down.
All right, Barry, go ahead, sir. You had something you'd like to speak.
I apologize for not understanding protocol here.
It's okay.
I had a good experience with Jim Stevens and his crew. And I had some trees cut down, and they came out with their equipment and they cleaned the whole thing up. It's wonderful. You'd never get this kind of attention in the city.
For
And I
sure.
don't believe I'm getting preferential treatment. I think this is available to all the people in the
Yep,
township.
yep.
Am I correct, Jim?
You take good care of all of us.
we
Most
try.
assuredly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you determine how you take, for example, the entrance to Ramsburg Avenue on the west side of Harrisburg Pike? It's really like choppy. I don't know if how I can also explain it.
A lot of the problems that we end up having going down Harrisburg Pike with your entrances onto the side roads is it falls into an ODOT right of way. Yeah. Trust me, nobody really likes to hear that. I mean, we try to do the best that we can. Sometimes we do what we can, I'll just say that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. We've got a really good contact with District 6 ODOT, and there's times I think he gets tired of getting my emails about things, but you know, we try to stay up on it the best we can.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I'd just like the curbs around our area, I live on Eastbrook Drive, it seems to be that they're so covered with the rocks that are coming off the curb. So when it rains real hard, it's not draining very good. I always have puddles. Yeah, I even go out and, and clean mine every year, but people don't do that.
We're actually scheduled to do street sweeping
Oh,
this
okay.
spring. And one thing that we do is we do a preventive work with our hydro machine, and we go through and we try to jet out and hydro any debris that we've got down our catch basins. During the wintertime, you end up, snow melts and it just pulls everything to them. So that's usually in the spring when we go around, we start doing that.
Yeah, I know mine's crumbling my curb in front.
We've got,
When it rains, that all piles up there, and then, you go out and clean it up, but it's still crumbling, so.
yeah, we've got some cold areas that I think we're gonna have to be rebuilt. And that's something we would have to contract that out and have a company from them. I know that they're talking about doing the sidewalks down in the area right now. I haven't heard much more about that project.
I have,
but
yeah.
I think there's some work that's gonna need to be done, but yeah.
Thanks.
All right, Jim, get out of here, get home.
Oh, and by the way, I did turn 29 today.
Okay.
Have a good evening, be
I'll be able
safe.
to- Bob, sir?
Good evening. Do have some run statistics for you for the month of March. Fire department took 564 incidents. 67 of those were in the township. 4 building fires, one of those was in the township. We did have 6 cardiac arrests with no one coming back for us that month. Let's see. Second thing I have is the LIV or LIV, third party fire prevention company. This company has been hired by all of the surrounding municipalities, including the city of Columbus, Jackson Township, Prairie Township, and many others. And this company basically compiles all of our commercial fire prevention permitting processes, like with cooking hoods, fire extinguishers, sprinkler systems, things that Todd ends up going out and doing his inspections annually for. This basically just helps those third-party companies who take care of those products, and then the business owners themselves, it sends them reminders, it compiles data, and then it basically makes Todd's job, I guess you can't hardly even account how much easier it is for Todd, because this company compiles that data. So when Todd sets up his inspections for the week, he just clicks on this company's webpage, and then it shows right there, when was your sprinkler system, the latest update to it, when was it inspected, when was it tested, all of the different kinds of tests. This company keeps track of all that for it, and then this company does not bill our fire department at all. It actually bills the third-party fire prevention companies like Corson, Silco, Capital, a small nominal fee to basically help them take care of the businesses. And because all of the surrounding municipalities have already incorporated this company, because it's so much easier for everyone, that cost has already been built in to our township companies through whatever third-party company they're using, Silco, Capital, you name it. So Todd and I talked about it extensively. We've met with this group quite a bit, and we feel like it's a good idea, and it would be extremely helpful and beneficial to not only the township businesses, but for our department as a whole. I talked with Mike. He gave me the go-ahead to send the contract that they're proposing over to Julie for her to check it out. Her and I had a conversation today. She sent me a version of the contract that she liked better, and right before I came, I got an okay from them. So I have an updated copy of the contract. I would simply need a motion, according to Julie, for the township to engage in business with the Live company, and one of you to represent the board, sign the contract, or authorize me to sign the contract on your behalf.
So, Mr. Chairman, I can make the motion. However, how would you perceive in the person that would want to, do we want to allow the chief to be able to sign the contract, or do you want that to come back to the board? Which would be the most advantageous for the township?
I'm comfortable with the chief signing it. How about you, Brenda?
Yeah.
I'm good with
You're
it.
a big opponent of their department heads and let them run their department and things like that, so.
I'm like-minded in that, so if I may, sir, I'll make a motion if that would be fine.
Sure.
So I'd like to make a motion that we allow Fire Chief to continue in engaging with Julie, our law firm, and be able to facilitate and sign necessary documentation in regards to this application.
With the LIV company, correct?
Correct.
I'll second it. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Clark.
Yes.
The last thing I have on is, I can answer any questions about the upcoming levy that anyone has. The only update I would have is be aware and look in your mail. Mailers are going to come out this month with information about the levy, what it funds, what it does, how much it is. And then in those informational packets, we'll have basically access to more information if needed. We're going to have social media presence and hopefully a website where it lists out all the different costs associated with it, the resolutions you've all passed, the ballot language, if we're allowed to put that on there, and then what it gets, what it does, how long it should last, et cetera, et cetera.
And then before we go on, we jumped over C, so we have a resolution prepared. And Robin, did you want to read that resolution, please? Saying what it is and everything.
This is resolution 2026-050. It's a resolution approving a memorandum of understanding between the Franklin Township Board of Trustees, the Franklin Township Fire Department, and the International Association of Firefighters Local 1441. Whereas the Franklin Township Board of Trustees, the Franklin Township Fire Department, and the International Association of Firefighters Local 1441 in a bargaining agreement, whereas Article 19, Section 1.2 of the CBA states that subsequent 2-year pay schedule covered under the contract will be noted in Appendix A, whereas Appendix A of the CBA further provides after January 1st of 2025, Article 19 shall be reopened solely for bargaining with respect to wages to the subsequent 2 years of the contract. Year 2, which is March 1st, 2025 through February 28th, 2026, and Year 3, which is March 1st, 2026 through February 28th, 2027. Whereas the parties have engaged in negotiations regarding the wages for Year 3 of the contract and have reached agreement in memorizing the Memorandum of Understanding. Whereas the MOU provides for a 4% increase in the pay scale for firefighter 1 through a firefighter 5 effective the first full pay period in April 2026, and whereas the MOU further provides that the salary for promoted rank shall be calculated based upon the updated firefighter 5 pay scale. Whereas Local 1441 has agreed to waive any retroactive back pay associated with the wage increase for the period of February 28th, 2026 through April 4th, 2026. Now therefore be resolved by Franklin Township Board of Trustees that the Memorandum of Understanding between Franklin Township Board of Trustees, the Franklin Township Fire Department, and the International Association of Firefighters Local 1441 is to hereby approved. That the 4% wage increase shall be implemented effective the first full pay period of April 2026 in accordance with the terms of the MOU. Compensation for promoted rank shall be adjusted consistent with the revised firefighter 5 pay scale. That the waiver for the retroactive back pay for the International Association of Firefighters Local 1441 for the period of February 28, 2026 to February 4, 2026 is acknowledged and accepted. That the appropriate official is authorized to take all action necessary to implement the terms of this resolution in the MOU. It is found and determined that all formal actions of this board concerning or related to the adoption of this resolution was adopted in open meeting of the board. That all deliberation of this board and neighbors committees that result in such formal action were conducted in a meeting open to the public in compliance with legal requirements. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
I accept the resolution as read. Can I get a second?
I'll second, sir.
Discussion? Hearing none, can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman?
Yes.
Trustee Levin?
Yes.
Trustee Fuller?
Yes.
Now, when she's sending this across, we have to sign three
There's a resolution.
different things here. So while we're doing that, John, do you have any questions for Bob?
I do not.
Brenda?
No.
Anybody in the audience have any questions for Bob? Go ahead.
I just missed it, but what exactly is the fire, is LIV, what exactly are they doing?
So they basically help our township businesses take care of their fire suppression systems, whether it's cooking hoods, sprinkler systems, they can do fire extinguishers. And they basically compile information, so when Corson or Silco comes out, they are in contact with this company and they'll see, oh, they updated, or we're here to check their sprinkler, or it's a 10-year test, 5-year
Got it,
test.
got it. All right, thank you.
Anyone else?
Bob, as soon as I get this done, I'll give it to you, unless you're gonna pick it up. So. You want to get ready to go, sir?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Let me take you got all three of them?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's isn't
No,
that?
this is mine,
Oh, okay, perfect.
because I took these and
Here, John, you start signing those. I'll sign this one so we can get Bob out of here.
that one was, not because I was just looking at this, just,
That makes sense. That's all a part of it.
And not just looking at yours.
thank you. I don't know what I did, I was doing the call.
When you get that one signed, if you can hand it to, he can get out of here. That's their copy.
Okay. I'll hand you these.
Yes, sir. Chief, you can get started if you'd like.
Okay. Thank you, sir. These are some pictures of the clearing of the two buildings. I talked to Steve earlier. He dropped these off for you guys just to see. That is all taken care of.
Sure, go ahead and sign that and all.
Pass those on for you.
That's just a copy of what we just signed.
Okay, yeah, I've already got it.
Oh, you already did?
Yes,
I'll
I-
take that. I gotta do this one. I'm sorry.
And this is, I'm sorry, sir, we were signing stuff. We are looking at,
The buildings that are no longer
Yes.
at Midland and 62.
so I had, this is gonna make a great place for semis. So,
Careful what
is
you
it,
wish for.
so when I say that, it's a
Don't
little
give
tongue in cheek.
ideas.
Are they going to, the owner, are they going to put anything up to keep vehicles or, because I can see what happens in the corner coming up here and parking.
Yeah. It's my understanding, and I don't know if it's a done deal or not a done deal, just in conversation, that he's already in works to sell that property.
Okay,
Tearing the buildings down was part of that sale. And what the person is going to or hoping to build is some kind of a mechanic shop. Because it's zone commercial, it's,
just, it fits right in there, don't it?
yeah, so come talk to Nicole and Todd if he needed to, and
I would,
get the right permits and whatever. But yeah, it does, fits right on the corner.
well, unfortunately, because that whole area,
Let's see, we will have the March stats in 2 weeks. She wasn't able to get them all compiled for me. The speed trailers, the one on El Paso seems to have a little hiccup, so we're gonna figure that out. The other one was put on Little Avenue, going westbound. So for the last 7 days, there was 1,125 vehicles going west, which I know what you're thinking. You're thinking 1,100, and here's, we got a dead-end street that had 3,000 and some. I said the same thing. It's like, all right, that's a little weird. Total violators, 159. Average speed is 28. So that puts about 86% going above the 25. He didn't give me the individual speed, so I have to get that. But, so we are actively working that with our traffic car too.
have we had any stops?
Yeah. There's
Okay.
been a lot of stops in the entire area
Okay,
of Little, Hart, 62, Randsburg, every,
on Ransford, can you give us an update as far as how many cars may have been stopped coming out of Ransford?
I can get that. Yeah.
Okay,
It's difficult to catch a car speeding on Randsburg, because it's a dead-end road and they have to
Sure.
slow down or they'll hit somebody.
can we actually have our car where the, what was that, garage door company, and as they're coming to,
It's difficult for the line of sight because of the curvature of the road.
Okay.
They can sit there, sure. Whether or not you get an accurate reading is gonna depend on traffic
coming back and forth?
And, yeah.
Did they try Wilson? I'm just curious. I haven't had a chance
I
to talk to you.
told Wendell about Wilson. He can't get a good angle for speed detection on Wilson. He can sit there to be visible.
So it doesn't work when they go by? He can't get a,
No, it won't get, you've gotta have like line
Line
of
of
sight where
sight.
it follows the car.
okay.
But yes, no, I did. Let's see, striping of additional cruisers. So back in January, when we talked about striping the 2 new cars, I was asked to get some quotes on striping some of the other cars. So I did. It's $1,190 per vehicle to have the old striping removed and the new striping put on, which is only about $100 and some more than the new striping. So they're not charging much for the labor to,
Take it off.
yeah, and they buff that out too. So it's not just like peeling off a sticker and sticking one up. They actually have to clean that up. So I did an audit of all the cars. We have 6 that are below 60,000 miles that we would still get at least 3 years to 4 years of life out of. So I did talk to Chris. He was able to put it in the budget. If the board would like, we can proceed with the new striping on the 6 newest cars. Everything else is so much older, it'll probably be gone or decommissioned within 2 years, so I didn't really think it was worth the money.
I do not think it's a good expenditure of the money. I don't think people care when a car pulls up in front of their house, what striping it has on it. They just want to have a police officer show up. And the cars that we have are in perfectly good shape. I think we're spending $6,000, almost $6,600 that we wouldn't necessarily need to spend. I think we could find better places to put that money. I remember you made a good point when we were in the executive session. We're talking about another officer. You said it costs $5,000 to outfit an officer. So, I mean, has that been put into the budget too?
Not yet.
So, that's just one trustee's opinion. If the others want the cars to be restriped, I'm surely not going to stand in the way or, kick a fuss. It's just my opinion.
Okay.
So,
My understanding, I don't understand.
hold on just a second. We're going to come to you, I promise you.
I like the unison of as many cars as we could. If we were getting the longevity of it, I could see spending the money for the cars and the other ones drop off.
Right.
It would allow us to go to the new striping design more quicker than going over a 5-year period. I'm one trustee on that opinion as far as what we are putting into our car and our new look, and people recognize who we are.
Okay.
Brenda, you have anything?
Well, I kind of see what you're saying. You're saying that if, once a cruiser gets to the mileage where we need to get rid of it and we get a new one, we start striping them as we get the newer ones.
Right.
And how many vehicles are going to be, that you said are higher than the 60,000 miles?
There's 5, I believe.
Let me see.
6. You're asking to do 6?
6 would be within the below 60 to be restriped. So there's 1, 2, 3 that are above that we wouldn't consider putting the new striping on.
Because we would be looking into getting,
They'll be in the line to be
replacements for
replaced anyway within the next few years. So 6 of them we will have for at least 3 to 4 years, at least.
okay.
I mean, based on wear, tear, and, accidents, whatever. But in theory, you wouldn't stripe anything that had more than 60,000 miles in it because you're not going to get a lot of time out of that car. And the difference between 60 and the next one is like 77,000. So it's not like a couple miles, And then 95 and then 92. So those we're not looking at doing. So it'd be the newer cars.
It's up to you if you want to make
Because we're spending money doesn't have to be a resolution.
Yeah, I didn't get to that. At this point, we don't have a resolution
I think we
ready.
should just bring it up
Right.
can you bring it back to the board
Sure can.
at the next meeting?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so
Is it okay to continue? I mean, are you done?
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to make sure because you cut me off. Go ahead, Byron.
Okay, so there was discussion about part-time officers, possibly an additional full-time officer, so I got with Chris, and he was able to put the 14th officer in the budget. I can begin that process of putting a list together, and just probably for audit purposes, need a motion, Robin, you think, or? is-
If you're
I mean, it's hit or-
pursuing candidates, then yeah.
Yeah, I don't need a resolution for that. Maybe a motion if you want for me to proceed with that.
Would you like to proceed with the motion, John?
I'd like to make a motion that we have Chief Smith due diligence in looking at adding an additional officer as well as any part-time, working with Mr. Kirby and our budget and reporting back to the board.
Okay.
I'll second it.
I apologize.
No,
If there's
it's
no
good.
further questions, I would ask for a second.
I'll second it. You can call the roll.
Yes, call the roll, please.
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Levins.
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
Alrighty. Let's see. So last week, Trustee Blevins and I and Nicole met with the owner of 977 Harrisburg Pike, where the grocery store and the smoke shop and the phone store are. I thought it was a really good meeting. He seemed very compliant about putting up possibly parking blocks around the parking lot to prevent people from coming and going along the entire side of the lot. I guess I should have asked when Jim was here. I believe we ended that meeting with Jim needing to get a hold of ODOT to see what their stance was.
That's correct, and I forgot to ask him before he left too, so we can report back the next meeting.
Yeah, because he didn't say anything about ODOT, so I'm assuming he probably didn't hear back yet. And then we can decide how to, push.
I agree with you, though. It was a great meeting. He's very receptive. He wants to be a good partner to the township and still let his people that rent his business and make a living and stuff. We made some other recommendations to him. No need to go into those here and now, but I agree with your assessment of that, how the meeting went. So
we'll keep on that, and then once we cross ODOT's threshold, we'll kind of go from there, I suppose.
It would seem that if they did put parking block, actually it would open up their parking lot, meaning that cars could actually park parallel, like 2 or 3 cars for more parking because they're not in the way.
Right. Yeah, it could create more spots. Let's see, update on 301. So got 301 back. It's now able to be driven. The decals have been removed from it that need to be removed. Lieutenant Ratliff will be getting with Jim on the procedure for putting it out here and doing the sealed bids.
perfect.
And we already have a resolution to sell that, so I think we're good with this. I think it's sort of like 2 weeks it has to be up or something. I don't remember how long we did it for, but I'll find out and then we'll go from there. So that is definitely, in the works, looking pretty good. Let's see, since the last meeting, along with us, the sheriff's office did a raid up in the Broadlawn area at one of our known drug houses. There were several arrests made, narcotics confiscated, and of course that's a long process after the fact.
Where was that at?
Broadlawn.
Broadlawn, okay.
That's all I have.
So when we bring on a new officer, are we going to have to bring on another car? Because we don't share, our officers don't share cars.
They're not?
They all have to, they're going to be able to share now?
Well, they always could share.
Oh,
I mean, there's obviously a benefit when you space them out because you get more life out of it. So we'll have to be a little bit strategic because whatever car we put 2 people in is getting now double the use at the same, virtually the same day. So that car won't have quite the same lifespan, but we are not budgeted for another vehicle this year, so that will just have to roll that way.
that's all I had. John, did you have anything for the chief?
I do not.
Brenda?
No,
Barry, did you want to ask the chief something?
I don't understand the striking. Can you do it in brief?
Yes, so you know what the cars look like now? When you
Yes.
look at with the white lettering?
Yes.
And this isn't a complete picture, but it's the 2 new ones have a little bit different striking package, and it just differentiates. Like the one that's out there is kind of a cookie cutter.
Okay.
You'll see those just like that all over the country. So this is just a little more identifiable for Franklin Township. It's the same cost, it's just a little different.
So, but you made it plain that it's not feasible to do for cars that have high mileage.
I wouldn't know, I
Okay.
personally think they do it.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Get some painting supplies and I'll paint them for free.
All right, we'll give you a bucket of paint.
Anybody else? Okay.
All right.
thanks, Byron.
Welcome.
So it's 7:15. What do you feel about Are we able to postpone the reading of the resolutions on the nuisance cars and properties until the next meeting?
Very quickly.
Huh?
We have a plan.
Oh, okay, you're go, okay, good to go then.
So I'm gonna do the junk car resolutions and Robin's gonna do the nuisance properties.
Perfect.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the general resolution and then I'm going to specify each resolution number per address. So it'll be done in one.
Sure.
Okay. So, this is a resolution declaring junk motor vehicles, at certain parcels that I'll read, and providing for its removal. So the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, met in person in a regular meeting at 6 p.m. on Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. The trustees Mark Below made motion for the adoption of the following resolutions, which you can do that after I read the specific parcels. Whereas the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, pursuant to the provisions of Ohio Revised Code, Section 505871, has the authority to address and remove junk vehicles by electing to implement the provisions of the Ohio Revised Code, Section 505.871. And whereas it's in the best interest of Franklin Township and its residents to proceed under Section 505.871 of the Ohio Revised Code in order to remove or have removed the junk motor vehicles from the property. So therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees, by the Board of Township Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the following resolutions are hereby adopted. So it will be section 1. The board hereby determines that a motor vehicle located at 1103 Harrisburg Pike, Columbus, Ohio, 43223, parcel 140002994, in the unincorporated area of the township, which may generally be described as a maroon Suzuki sideback. It's very rusted, missing side panels and important parts, and in deteriorated condition. 3 years model or 3 model years or older, apparently inoperable and thus constitutes a junk motor vehicle as defined in section 505.173 of the Ohio Revised Code. So that's the first one. The second one is resolution 2026-052. And that's for 2082 Eakin Road, Columbus, Ohio, 42223, parcel number 140001585. In the unincorporated area of the township, which may be generally described as multiple semi-tractor units with significant deterioration, covered in debris, damage to windows, mirrors, and tires, is 3 model years or older, apparently inoperable, and thus constitutes a junk motor vehicle, as defined in section 505.173 of the Ohio Revised Code. Resolution 2026-053 is for vehicles located at 1044 Geneva Avenue, parcel numbers 140001653, generally described as maroon Pontiac and red Pontiac, heavily rusted, multiple flat tires, significant deterioration. Neither have been moved in over 10 years as shown on the Franklin County Auditor's aerial images. Resolution 2026-054, 30 Broadlawn Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43228, parcel numbers 140002851. It's generally described as dark colored Chevy truck with damaged passenger quarter panels and bumpers and missing passenger tire. Resolution 2026-055, located at 108 Florence Avenue, parcel number 140002807. Generally described as a black Toyota 4-door sedan, missing bumper, damaged quarter panel, and bent front wheel supports. Resolution 2026-056, vehicle located at 56 Broadlawn Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43228, parcel number 140002847. Generally described as a dark colored Scion XD with damage to front end and tires. And last, resolution 2026-057, vehicle located at 67 Florence Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43228, parcel number 140002792. Generally described as a silver Ford hatchback with damage to front end and driver's side, missing tires, and popped up on jacks. So the rest of the resolutions read, the township shall provide for the removal of said junk motor vehicles from the property on which the vehicle is located, not sooner than 14 days after publication of notice of its intention to remove or cause removal of the vehicle on the owners of the land and any lien holders of the land. Upon proper notice and failure of the property owner to remove said junk vehicle within 14 days of service of notice,
The township shall provide for removal of said junk motor vehicle, and the expenses thereof shall be certified by the administrative assistant to Franklin County Auditor, who shall place the expenses on the tax duplicate as a lien upon the property to be collected as a tax and returned to the township's general fund. Section 6, the board finds and determines that all formal actions of this board concerning and related to the passage of these resolutions were taken in open meetings of this board, and that all deliberations of the board that resulted in formal actions were taken in meetings of the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including but not limited to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22, except as otherwise permitted thereby. And Section 7, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage. So roll was called, and so we can do the trustee Marcelo made motion for the adoption of these resolutions.
So I accept the resolutions as read. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
And then discussion.
Yeah, I'm looking at the one that says 2082 Eureka Road. Eakin Road. The semi sitting there, or is that also, are we talking just the cars or the semis too?
All of it.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going after it all.
Because it's obvious to me that when you see semis this far down into the earth, then yeah, it's been sitting there for some time. So thank you.
So what I want to say to the audience, we're going to leave these on the table. If you'd like to come up after the meeting and have a look, everything is open to the public in these meetings. They'll be right here, and feel free to take a look at them. Brenda, did you have any discussion?
No.
I don't have anything, so I've got a resolution and a second, so can I get a roll call, ma'am?
So this is going to be for resolutions 2026-051 through 2026-057. Trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
Trustee Blevins,
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
So
And thank you for the way that we did that. It was ludicrous to have to read each one. So stating
and you're
the
reading
cause
next
and the
set of
reason, and then the addresses make it smoother.
Yeah, we're gonna do the same for the new ones. And actually, if I could have you guys sign these at the end of the meeting, just because there's one correction I had to make, but I read it correctly.
Okay.
So don't sign any of these yet?
No, on hers,
Okay.
she said at the
Yeah, I
end.
think we'll just wait.
So you're going to go ahead, Robin, and take resolution 2026-058 through 2026-060.
Yes. Okay. So I'm just going to basically run through it just like Nicole did. So we're going to start, these are just like Chairman Blevins said, we're going to do resolutions 2026-058, 2026-059, and 2026-060. Resolution 2026-058 is property owned by Ann Christina Garez, excuse me for the mispronunciation. It's spelled G-E-H-R-A-S, located at 67 Volney Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio. Known as parcel number 140-002862-00, is littered with debris, trash, building materials, and shopping carts with multiple reports of disturbances and squatters. Resolution 2026-059, property owned by Emerald Marketing Company and our Speedway LLC, located at 23 Volney, Columbus, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio. Known as parcel number 140-002854-00. The property is at 23 Volney, is a parking area littered with trash and debris. Resolution 2026-060, property owned by Tyler Pickrell, located at 77 Broadlawn, Columbus, Ohio, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, known as parcel number 140-0034-00, is littered with trash, debris, household waste. It shows signs of occupancy and accessory structures and contains evidence of burned debris with propane tanks nearby, along with multiple reports of disturbances and squatters. Whereas pursuant by 505.07 of the Ohio Revised Code, the board is authorized to determine that the accumulation of vegetation, garbage, refuge, or other debris constitutes nuisance and orders its abatement, control, and removal. Whereas it is in the best interest of Franklin Township and its residents to proceed under 505.87 of the Ohio Revised Code to remove the garbage, refuge, and debris from the said properties. Be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board has found that the properties previously stated constitutes a nuisance and pursuant to 505.87 of the Ohio Revised Code, and orders the following actions. Section 1, the board orders the property by the abatement, control, and removal of the garbage, refuse, and debris, or make arrangements for the abatement, control, and removal within 7 days, which will be April the 10th, 2026, after notice of this resolution in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 505.87B. Notice shall be provided to the owner and any holders of liens of record as permitted by law, including certified mail, or as authorized by posting the notice on the principal structure on the land and photographing it in the posted notice. If the owner's address is unknown and can't be reasonably be obtained, notice will be published or posted as permitted by Ohio Revised Code 505.87. If within 12 consecutive months after the prior nuisance determination, the board determines that the same owner's maintenance of vegetation, garbage, refuge, or other debris in the same land constitutes a nuisance, the board may proceed under the subsequent notice provision of the Ohio Revised Code .87C, including providing at least 4 days' notice to the owner and any lien holders of record in the matter authorized by law. If the owner does not abate, control, or remove the garbage, refuge, or debris, or make arrangements for the abatement, control, or removal within 7 days of notice, the Ohio Revised Code 505.87B, or within 4 days of the notice of subsequent nuisance order of the Ohio Revised Code 505.87C, and no agreement is entered into under Ohio Revised Code 505.87D, the township is authorized to order township employees and materials and equipment to be used to abate, control, or remove the garbage, refuge, and debris, or enter into a contract with some suitable person or persons for that work, and all costs and expenses incurred shall be approved by the board and paid by the township's general fund as provided by law. The administrative assistant shall report all expenses of the township incurred in the abatement, control, and removal of the garbage, refuge, and debris to the auditors of Franklin County, to entry upon the tax duplicate as a lien to the property, and for collection and reimbursement to the township's general fund as provided by 505.87 of the Ohio Revised Code, including any authorized charges for services, notice cost, labor, materials, equipment, and any fees or interest paid to borrow money for the work. This board finds and determines that all former actions of this board concerning related to the passage of this resolution were taken in the open meeting of the board, that all deliberations of this board that result in such former action were taken in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including but not limited to the Ohio Revised Code 121.22, except otherwise permitted hereby. There be it further resolved that this resolution shall be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
I accept the resolutions as read. Can I get a second?
I'll second with no questions.
Brenda?
No discussion.
Can I get a roll call when you have time, ma'am?
Trustee Fleshman?
Yes.
Trustee Levens?
Yes.
Trustee Fuller?
Yes.
I must say, Mr. Chairman, if I may make a quick comment, I thank the staff for doing this, because what I'm seeing in these pictures, nobody should have to live next to something like that.
Yep, I think Nicole did a great job. She approached me last week about going out, and she had some free time, and it's easy to see that she put it to good use, and that's why it was great that we brought in the extra help that we did. I take and give Nicole kudos for being proactive and getting out there. And did you hear all that, Nicole?
Oh, I heard some of it.
Okay, sorry.
In other words, we're
Anybody
thanking you for the...
in the audience have any
You've done a great
questions for
job.
Nicole?
Okay, anyone have questions for Nicole? Nope.
Hearing none, we'll move on.
We're getting there. Nicole, is this the paperwork that you just redid? We don't have to stay afterwards. This is everything, correct?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't want to leave and
I just
then...
only have to sign it twice, so
Sure.
I fixed it.
Thank you.
Where are we at?
I just want to say, I've been in these meetings where we've had this many, and it has taken like 2 hours just to get through it. It felt like
Yeah.
it anyway.
Are
This
you
is 2 hours.
discussing the next one, Robin, under new business?
The risk control?
Yes.
Yes.
So do you want to go ahead and get started while we finish? I think we're almost done.
Okay.
Go ahead, though.
have a couple of the townships in what's called, under the OTARMA, which is the Ohio Township Association's Risk Management Authority. And basically what it's like for like regular folks that are not in government would be, like your risk management, that would be like your state farm or your Blue Cross, the people that take care of your property, your car, your house insurance, your car insurance, those kind of insurance carriers. But we're in what's like a pool. So it's the Ohio Township Association. So many townships fall into this organization. And what we pay in our fees to be a part of the TARMA is they bring folks out to talk with us about risk management, things within our operations. And I've had two of those visits. One was in late 2025, excuse me, and the other one was in, both of them were, because the other one was in November, one was in December. It just seems like time's gone by really quick. And when they come in, they walk away with information that they gathered, and they come back with recommendations. And this particular visit, they were looking over our handbook and basically looking for anything risk-related that could be a concern when it comes to them covering us for different things. And so there is some recommendations on here. I don't know if the board's had a chance to review them. One of the recommendations of the handbook is that each time we update the handbook, we need to make sure that we keep the date on the front of the handbook updated based on when we, every time we update it, we should be putting the new dates collectively on the handbook, which I don't think that's too hard to do. With a few recent updates that we've had, we just go back and look at the resolutions and we can plug those dates in. Under our anti-harassment policy, there were some recommendations just based on wording. The term gender should be replaced with the term sex. One of the policies says that you are encouraged to report the knowledge of harassment. And basically it says harassment is a federal, it's protected under federal law. And so basically they're saying that it should be changed to required, not recommended, but required to report harassment in the workplace. So some of this is just word changing, nothing that we're necessarily doing wrong. I mean, we're obviously putting it in our handbook. There's one about accident. We have one that's called accident and injury reporting. And they said the word accident should be replaced with the term incident, because under safety professionals often use the word incident versus an accident to emphasize the events could have been preventable, So a lot of this is just based on like legal words that they've found along the way as things change in the world. Just asking us to kind of keep up with that. Those were the few things. If the board needs some time to look over this a little bit more, but if this is something that, because they're asking for us to respond back with the actions that we've taken based on the recommendations and what we've done as a township. And it also shows that we're being good stewards as a part of this pool, that we're not that we're not a risk, that we're trying to follow along with the recommendations that they're providing. It's kind of like when State Farm gives you that little thing to plug in your car to be a safe driver, they want you to be a good steward. So this is kind of what they're doing, is they're plugging in recommendations for us to consider. So I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention that is something that it came.
I read that today, and one thing that I don't think you mentioned was that they recommend we run all the changes through the lawyers.
Right, any policies that
yep.
require updating should be reviewed and approved by the Township Legal Counsel.
Yes.
And so I know that that's something, I just figured that.
Did you have any questions, John?
I concur with staff's recommendation on that, and I definitely can see where that wording, when someone says, I had an accident, it's almost saying I was at fault. I had an incident, or I was involved in an incident. And again, sir, with your recommendation of sending it over to Jolie Legal to look at it, I think that would be advantageous of us to do so.
Well, that's their recommendation, like when we read that today. So any changes that we make before we do it and put it in the handbook, that's what they're saying, run it all through legal. So I think I see here under B now is if the board's good with it, you're asking for a motion. Am I correct?
Right, so the motion can be a couple different ways. The motion can be that this recommendation, just as it's written, is sent to legal counsel. Or
Is
the
that what you
motion
prefer?
can
Okay.
let legal look over these recommendations, send her the handbook along with this recommendation, and then let legal come back with, because that way it's like a one-stop shop. Like it's not clerical doing it and then legal changing it and then it coming back, we're just sending it straight through based on their recommendation. So
You wanna
the
make that
motion would
motion,
be
John?
what you want to do with this recommendation, with sending it directly to legal.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like to
Yes,
make a motion that we accept staff's recommendation that came from OTARMA and that we send it over to legal for one more set of eyes to look at it, and then from there we can implement it. So with this resolution, I would ask that we have to move this further on.
I'll second it. Any discussion?
Can I ask who is sending this to legal?
It would be you, ma'am.
Just wanna
Please.
make sure that I capture that in here. Okay. So
You said no. Discussion? Can we get a roll call then?
I just want to make sure I got this correct.
Okay.
The board is permitting me to send the OTARMA recommendations to legal with for advisement. Okay. Roll call, trustee Fleshman,
Yes.
trustee Levin,
Yes.
trustee Fuller.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next one, next resolution, please.
It's not a resolution. I haven't really found it. I'm looking at new business number B.
Okay, so it's an
Credit card.
emotion.
Yeah, I just need to explain it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. This again falls under the OTARMA umbrella, and because OTARMA does a lot of different things for us, and what they've asked of us is for the board to appoint a representative and an alternate to be the contact for OTARMA. And so I called and talked to our representative with OTARMA, and this has to do with claims and any issues that they would have or concerns with, just talking with the township in general. And currently, it was our former administrator as the representative with no alternate. And so because there was no alternate, they just sent it in to me because I've dealt with OTARMA over the years. And so I asked exactly what would the representative be responsible for, and they're like basically emails, correspondence, anything that's coming to and from day to day. And if that representative isn't available, who would be the alternate? If there's a question about a claim, if there's a question about anything related to communications going back and forth, because Jim Stevens was talking about, he contacted OTARMA about the stop signs. Then what if there's a question about the stop signs? Are they supposed to return that correspondence back to Jim, or are they supposed to reach out to the board? Like, they need a directive on who that communication should be. And it's not all that often that they have to communicate, but they just want to know who that would be. So this again would be a motion for the board to make the decision on the representative and the alternate for day-to-day communications.
Do you have any thoughts, sir?
Yes, sir. So, Ms. Watkins, is it doable for you to handle the responsibilities for any emails back and forth with the common knowledge that you have with the OTARMA? Is your schedule allowing that when we do have it?
I have a rapport with the folks, just because of my longevity of being here. I don't have any problem being a part of the day-to-day communications and stuff. It does kind of fall a little bit outside of my role as the payroll specialist and stuff like that. But again, I think they need a person to be able to reach out and be able to communicate if there is something that's going on, such as, something that needs to get communicated to the board. They want to be able to get a person that can get that to you guys. So again, it's not that heavy of a role. It's not like they're emailing every day, but it is, I think, an intricate place to make sure the board is getting the proper information.
Do you have a person you might have in mind for the alternate?
It's at the pleasure of the board, but of course, me and Nicole work very well together, in bouncing things like we did the junk cars and the blighted homes, and we work in tandem a lot, so I don't know.
Well, I know you both have a lot on your plate, and I was thinking about Trina. I didn't know, I know she's new, but
That's
seems
the
like
only reason I
something we
didn't
could
say her
bring her
name.
in on
Yeah.
and start
was thinking the
getting
same
her
thing.
trained
She
and
can be
stuff like
trained as an
that.
alternate, I'm not saying that that's not something
Do you
she's.
think it's too soon, or?
I think it's one of those things that I could introduce her to it, as part of her training. It's the board, it's at the pleasure of the board, as far as that. I don't think she's a bad consideration. The only reason I didn't say it's because she's so new. I obviously think she has the skill set to do it and the capabilities to do it. But
Swim or
again,
sink.
exactly how, whatever you guys want to do, or gals want to do too.
So,
you wanna make-
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion regarding the OTARMA contact person as well as a follow-up person would be Robin Watkins, and the secondary would be Katrina
It's Tarina
Tarina
Baldwin.
Baldwin. Thank you. I said Katrina.
It's all right, I do it
I
too.
do too.
I thought it was that. Okay. If there's no further questions on said motion, I would ask for a second.
I'll second it.
With the second, if I can have any questions? Hearing none, I would ask for a roll call.
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
And let her know that if she would have attended the meeting, when you don't attend a meeting, you get assigned stuff. That's how the fire department used to work.
Right.
You come in the next day and you realize, I'm the new what?
Right. Yeah. Perfect. All right, so we'll get that away. Okay, moving on.
C under new business, ma'am.
I'll try to make this as quick as possible. This is amending a resolution that is updating the authorized holder of the township credit cards. And the reason, I was just going through some stuff, I might have been pulling stuff to the auditors or something, and I found this resolution that basically was stating that the only person that had authority to hold a credit card was the fiscal officer, which back in the time of which that resolution was passed made sense, because that's when Nick Dunn was here. And so when Nick was here and I was a part of the fiscal department, when I took him over and got him, assigned to the bank, and I was the assistant to the fiscal officer, then two credit cards were established, one for him and one for me as his assistant. And it said at that point that he was authorized to allow me to do that under the fiscal department. Well, now that things have pivoted within my job responsibilities, I'm no longer under the fiscal department, but my responsibilities with the credit card are still a part of my daily responsibilities. And because the resolution specifically said fiscal officer, I felt like we were not in compliance because the credit card says Franklin Township, has my name on it. It's been that way since Nick was here, but the responsibilities of using the card with the department heads and the policies and procedures have all still stayed in place. We never dropped, the ball on that part of it. But I just felt it was important that we revise and amend that resolution to allow for me to be able to continue to be the authorized holder and user of the credit cards and continue to allow the department heads to move forward in their purchasing, like all of the cell phones and a lot of the IT that's under, the IT networking that's under AT&T all falls under that credit card, different things like that. So I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention. I prepared a resolution for your consideration. So if you would like me to read it.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is a resolution, amending Resolution 2022-059 to update the authorized holder and user of the township credit cards. Whereas House Bill 312 amended various sections of the Ohio Revised Code to regulate the use of credit card in political subdivisions, whereas for time to time is necessary for the township staff to make purchases related to township business in the respective departments. Whereas the use of cash or checks is often impractical, making the use of bank or vendor-issued credit cards necessary for efficient operations. Whereas the Board of Trustees has briefly adopted policies regarding the proper use and accountability of township credit cards. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that this resolution amends Resolution 2022-059. The payroll specialist in their role supporting employees and vendor relations is hereby authorized to be an approved holder and user of the township-issued bank and vendor credit cards. All staff, including the payroll specialist, shall adhere to the township established credit card policy, including procedures for signing the credit cards in and out. The payroll specialist currently listed on the township bank account, and this authorization is consistent with those existing of their responsibilities. This resolution shall be applied retroactively to the date of Resolution 2022-059. That all former actions of this board concerning and related to the adoption of this resolution are passed in the open meeting of the board. That all deliberations of the board and any of its committees that result in such form or action when the meeting open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. This resolution shall be declared an emergency and shall be in full force effective immediately upon its adoption.
I accept the resolution as read. Can I get a second?
I will second that with no further questions.
Brenda?
No comments.
Can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Blevins.
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
Thank you.
It was a good catch on that because the auditors would easily, just because the title change, so that keeps us in compliance, so thank you.
I was like, oh, I need to bring this to you guys' attention.
Sure.
So, okay, so that taken care of. All right, am I moving along here?
You are, sir, or ma'am. D?
All right, so we're moving on. This is, just give you a little bit of background on this real quick. This is the 2027 group retrospective rating for BWC in the Ohio Township Association's retro group. And we've been in this, this is a renewal. Like, we're continuing to participate in this retrospective rating for BWC. And what this means is it allows us the opportunity for a savings within our plan of up to around $23,000. It costs about $14,000 to be a part of the plan, but after the $14,000, we can still save up to $23,000. Like last year, we received, I can't remember how much we received back. We paid $14,000, and I think we got $21,000 back. And being a part of that pool again. Because you're under the Ohio Township Association, you get some better opportunities for savings. And another thing was last year, our monthly premium was $19,000 per month for the BWC plan. And once they assessed us being in this association, and when January rolled around, they looked at all of our claims for 2025 and what we paid in 2025 and realized we'd overpaid, as they looked at the premiums, because when they give you your premium, they're guesstimating what they think your claims are going to be based on your pattern and your history in the past. So they set your policy on that way. But then we didn't claim as high as they anticipated. And so in January, we received a check of over $5,000 back, And this year, they realized, okay, our claims weren't quite as high, so now our premium is now $14,000. So it's a good part of being in this group. So I just want to provide a little background before I got into the resolution. So is it okay to?
Yes.
This is Resolution 2026-067, a resolution approving the re-enrollment into the 2027 group retrospective rating for BWC and Ohio Township Association. Whereas the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township has determined it's in the best interest of the township to continue to its participation in the 2027 Ohio Township Association Group Retrospective Rating Program, effective July 1st, 2026, for the enrollment period of January 1st, 2027 through December 31st, 2027. Whereas the participation in this group is not guaranteed and is subject to the group's overall performance, but may result in estimated savings to Franklin Township up to $23,105.06 after the service fees. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, the appropriate township officials hereby authorized to execute the agreement of participation in the Ohio Township Association's retro-respective rating program through the Ohio Managed Care Sedgwick, acting as the third party for the Ohio Bureau of Workmen's Compensation's insurance program. The letter was dated March the 24th, 2026, as attached. The service fee to be in the program is $14,890, which is hereby appropriated in the general fund. That all former actions of the board concerning and related to the adoption of this resolution were passed in open meeting of the board. That all deliberations of the board and its committees that result in such form or action were in a meeting open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. that this resolution shall be declared an emergency and shall be in full force effective immediately upon its adoption.
I accept the resolution as read. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion, Brenda?
No.
Ma'am, when you're ready, we'll take a roll call.
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Blevins.
Yes.
And Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
And then there's, let's see here. So there's a place here for an officer to sign, so it could be the chairman, any of the trustees, and just section page 2. So there's a resolution, and then there's a spot for one person to sign.
Anyone can sign, it doesn't matter?
Yeah, and you just.
Brenda,
say
do
it's
you mind
official.
signing so I can keep rolling?
Yep, keep rolling.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So that puts us to the fiscal department. Ms. Justice isn't here or anything, so unless you have something.
I have nothing.
Okay, Brenda, you have anything? Fiscal department? Okay. So it's going to go back to you, Robin.
Okay. This one will be quick. This is a resolution, by the Ohio Revised Code, if there's a resolution, a then and now resolution that exceeds $2,500, it has to go in front of the board. And this resolution is no fault of anyone at the township. This is authorizing a payment to PAR Public Safety Equipment for a new police cruiser. As Byron had explained earlier on in the year, we had enough money in our budget at the beginning of the year to purchase one cruiser, so that cruiser was paid for, but PAR was generous enough to allow the township to obtain possession of both cruisers. So basically, we received both cruisers then, but we're paying for the second cruiser now.
Thank you.
So does that make sense of why we're having to do it then and now? Okay, so this is whereas Resolution 2026-062, whereas PAR Public Safety Equipment provided a new 2026 police cruiser, whereas after the cruiser was delivered, the township received the invoice for with the purchase order with prior certification, availability, appropriation of funds to pay the obligation. It had not been obtained at that time. Whereas Section 570541D1 Revised Code provided that certain circumstances a subdivision may authorize payment on a contract executed without prior certification, whereas the Board of Trustees now has therefore certified from the police chief that they were at the time of making the time of the contract and the time of the execution of such of the sums to be appropriated to the purchase of the contract and their treasury in the process of collection for the credit of the appropriate funds free from any previous encumbrances, which is a then and now. Whereas 30 days have passed since the Board of Trustees and received of it, the Board of Trustees desires to satisfy the obligation of the contract. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees
I don't think you have to sign anything else.
that
That's it.
the
Just
board
put it up
hereby
there.
acknowledges the receipt of the then and now certificate, authorizes and directs the payment in the amount of $67,439.05 for PAR Public Safety Equipment. Be it further resolved that all former actions of the board concerning related to the adoption of this resolution are passed in an open meeting of the board. All deliberations of the board and its committees that result in such formal action were to be made open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
We're on hold for just a second, ma'am. But I know where we're at. I'm going to... Oh, he took his microphone with him. He doesn't know it. I have an appropriate saying right now, but my mother wouldn't be proud if I say it, so I won't. Go ahead, Byron, you want to hear it? If you sprinkle when you tinkle, be a sweetie and wipe the seedy.
Exactly. Well done.
Okay, thanks. Sorry it went so long. Sometimes it's going to be like this to get stuff done, though.
Yeah, my nephew's looking at my phone.
Understood. Thanks, Linda.
He's echoing real bad. He does echo.
It's because he should have his, ours are up there. He should have his, he's wearing both of them.
That's right.
I legitimately thought that was going to be me having to cut away from the meeting because I'm just wasn't feeling good when I got here, but I'm feeling better.
We're more than halfway through. I know you are.
So at least just make it so it's legible so you can understand me, but I'm trying to. Oh, we might be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have to respond, just they read it themselves, I don't care.
Legally, it has to be read though, so.
Goodness gracious. Not in this
My apologies, sir.
That's all right.
Emergency.
That's all right. I accept
See,
the,
he turned them off.
there you go. We have a recommendation on that one, John.
Okay.
We would like to leave that set off because it's echoing, put that one back on
You
perfect.
know, one
sir.
of the other things that we can do is if we turn that speaker and let it come off the wall,
Yeah.
it's not direct to
No,
us.
this is our first night,
Yep,
right?
We'll
So-
figure it out. Go
I
ahead. I
accept the,
apologize.
it's all right. It's okay, understood. I accept the resolution as read. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Levins.
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
And this is the resolution, and then the then and now purchase orders on the back.
You can move on, ma'am, when you are ready.
Okay, this is, all right, here we go. Make sure I'm in the right spot. This is Resolution 2026-063, a resolution amending Resolution 2025-075 regarding OPERS pension contributions to certain township officials. Whereas the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Pennington County, Ohio adopted Resolution 2025-075, which includes exhibit language indicating that the police chief, the police lieutenant, and the road superintendent be responsible for paying 50% of their applicable pension contributions in the Ohio Public Employees Retirement System, OPERS, in Exhibit A. Whereas the township has not received approval or response from OPERS regarding the implementation of such change. Whereas it is the intent of the Board of Trustees to maintain existing pension contribution arrangement for these positions. Whereas the township has continuously paid the 100% of the OPERS pension contributions for these positions without interruption. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, the Resolution 2025-075 is hereby amended to provide the township shall continue to pay the 100% of the OPERS pension contribution for the positions of police chief, police lieutenant, and road superintendent. That is amended shall be applied retroactively to July 1st, 2025, the effective date referenced in the exhibit of line item number 2 in Resolution 2025-075. That the positions of police chief, police lieutenant, and road superintendent were not impacted by the change outlined in the Resolution 2025-075. And there has been no break or interruption in the township's payment of the 100% of their OPERS pension contribution. That all other provisions within the Resolution 2025-075 not consistent with this amendment shall remain in full force. That it is found in a term that all former actions of the board concerning relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of the board, that all deliberations of the board and its committees that result in such formal action were conducted in a meeting open to the public in compliance with legal requirements, that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
I accept the resolution as read. Can I get a second?
I will second. No questions.
Brenda?
No questions.
Okay, I do have questions. So on this resolution, I will be abstaining because I have no knowledge of this resolution or was not involved in the decision. There was some go back and forth the other day on putting the resolution sent over to me, and I wrote on there that I didn't have any knowledge of that, so I am ready to call for a roll call, but I just wanted to let it be known that I'm going to abstain, and I'm also going to attach Ohio Revised Code 121.22. So, ma'am, can we get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Levitt?
I abstain.
And Trustee Phillips?
Yes.
Sir, I didn't understand what
The Ohio Revised Code is that all deliberations were done in an open meeting to the public,
Okay.
and they were not. So,
So there's their signature. Would you like me to proceed, sir?
did you mark me as abstain? Perfect. Yes.
This is resolution 2026-064, a resolution authorizing adjustments to vacation leave for employee David Ratliff. Whereas the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio is authorized to establish a modified compensation and benefits for township employees pursuant to Ohio Revised Code declared that outlimited section 505.60 and 325.19. Whereas the Board of Trustees finds it necessary and appropriate to adjust the vacation leave of employee David Ratliff in recognition of service and for effective administration of township personnel. Therefore, be resolved by the Board of Trustees, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the payroll specialist hereby authorized and directed to immediately add an additional 80 hours of vacation leave as paid time off to the leave balance of employee David Ratliff. The employee shall maintain his current vacation accrual rate until December 31st of 2026. Effective January 1st of 2027, the Township payroll specialist is authorized and directed to increase David Ratliff's vacation accrual to 9.2 hours per pay period, which is equivalent to 30 days of vacation as paid off per year. The Board of Trustees expressly reserves the right to modify, amend, or terminate this agreement in the sole discretion consistent with applicable provisions of the Ohio Revised Code. Let it be found and determined that all former actions of the Board concerning relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of the Board, that all deliberations of the Board and its committees that result in such former action were conducted in a meeting open to the public in compliance with legal requirements. This resolution is hereby declared an emergency and shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
I accept the resolution as read. Can I get a second?
I'll second with no questions.
Brenda?
No questions.
It'll be noted the same on that one. I will be objecting.
Can I have a question real quick?
Sure.
Because we did discuss these in an executive session, and I believe that you said that you didn't want to work on any of these for our department heads, and you received this the same time that I received this, to be able to go over it and ask questions and everything too.
Brenda, it has to be, you said in an executive session, we discussed it, and it was never talked about in a public setting.
That's what we're here today for.
You didn't discuss it, sir. You didn't discuss it. I've never been involved in a meeting with either one of you in an open meeting to discuss this.
So when Brenda is correct in what she's saying in an executive, you can't make a decision in an executive session. We had, Brenda took the time to pull the MOUs, show the information, we had discussion.
When did we have discussion?
We had discussion in the executive in regards to this.
Okay.
We went through 18 pages, we didn't go through every page, but there was 18 pages of the different things that the old MOUs had, and she took the time to pull this information together. And she is correct at that time. You said, I don't want to have anything to do with it. So at this point, it was put onto the agenda. You received it at the same time. I received it at the same time Brenda received it. As chairman, you have every right to have a discussion right now, as we're doing now, in regards to this. So this was done in an open meeting. This was not discussed outside of an open meeting.
So, go ahead, I'm sorry to cut you off.
And so I don't know what more. I know we do have a second. You have a question, and you're still
Go
the
ahead.
floor.
Go ahead, Brenda, you got the floor, you said, so go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to point that out, that we did do this properly. And that's it.
Okay, so my discussion is, we had a meeting last Wednesday with Morpsey, and after that meeting, and the meeting wasn't even one of our meetings, it was a Morpsey meeting, you and John were sitting here talking about those things and everything, and you and him went back and forth. I made a statement, it was talking about Lieutenant Ratliff, and I said, do you realize he had a break in service? I got up and left because that was not in an open meeting. That was after a meeting with Morpsey. And then on Thursday, we came back and we had a meeting, and you would have had time right then to put anything that you wanted to to speak about at that meeting, and you chose not to. And then after that meeting was over, Brenda, you asked John, are these the things that you want on the agenda, the resolutions? And John came over and he evidently gave you your answer. That is not discussion in an open meeting. That is a discussion and decisions being made between two trustees and not in an open meeting. So you said I had the right, I have the floor, and you said I have the right, and so I've been given advice that I have the right to do exactly what I'm doing.
You do.
And I'm just going to remove myself from this because I don't think policy has been followed. So now I'm going to give you the floor.
Okay, so you're absolutely correct. The conversation after that meeting with me and Trustee Fuller was, is she going to put it on the next meeting? And I suggested that she do a few to put on there. I didn't know which ones she was going to put on there. We didn't discuss which ones were going to be put on there. I asked her if she was going to put any on. We didn't discuss anything about the language of it. I'd never seen any of the language. I never knew the topics of which one until they came at the same time they came to you. Ms. Fuller is the one that has been, I don't want to use the word spearheading, but she's the one that called the executive meeting. She is the one that has brought this to our attention, and she's the one that put together and compared to MOUs. So it's not real factual. I can understand where it can be misconstrued as we were having a meeting, but we were not. I just simply said, because there was like a total of 12 different things, and I asked that if she was going to put any of those on, and I suggested if you do, a little bit at a time so that we can have this discussions here.
You done discussing?
I am, sir.
Ma'am, you done?
Well, I just also wanted to add that when I showed him that paper, I was asking him, is this the format that I'm supposed to do it as a new trustee?
No, I have no problems. You know, you can show him whatever you want to show him. So with all that being said, can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Butter.
Abstain.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
Go ahead, ma'am.
This is resolution 2026-065, a resolution authorizing the continuation of health and life insurance benefits for certain township officials injured in the line of duty. If I have a moment to say, we were advised to have this reviewed by Julie, and I never did hear back from her. I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then the board can have their time for discussion. Okay. Whereas the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio is authorized pursuant of Ohio Revised Code, including but not limited to Section 505.60, and related to provisions to provide health and life insurance benefits to township officers and employees, whereas the Board of Trustees recognizes the importance of supporting township officials who are injured in the line of duty while serving and protecting the residents of the township. Whereas the Board of Trustees desires to establish a policy providing for continuation of employer-paid health and life insurance premiums for certain township officials during periods of disability resulting in job-related injuries. Therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that in the event of the police chief, police lieutenant, fire chief, or road superintendent of Franklin Township is injured in the line of duty and unable to perform their official duties as a result of injury, the township shall continue to pay the employee's share of the health insurance or the life insurance premiums for such official for the period not to exceed 6 months from the date of injury. That the Board of Trustees may, upon review of the circumstances of the injury and the status of the official, extend the continuation of such benefits beyond the initial 6-month period and to its sole discretion for such additional time that the board deems appropriate. That eligible for continuation of benefits under the resolution shall be contingent upon verification of the injury was sustained in the line of duty and may require appropriate medical documentation as determined by the board. This resolution is intended for supplement of any other benefits available under the applicable law, policies, or collective bargaining agreements, and should not be construed to be limited or replaced by any such benefits. That it is found and determined that all former action of the board concerning or relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in open meeting of the board, that all deliberations of the board and its committees that result in such formal action were conducted in meetings open to the public and in compliance with legal requirements. This resolution is hereby declared an emergency and shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
I accept the resolution as read. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Not this time.
No.
So no concern that Julie didn't check this
Okay,
out?
let me rephrase that. What I will say is if I perceive us running this across the table. I would also like to then send it over to Julie. If there is any corrections or errors that are made, then we would correct it at the next business meeting opportunity.
So, okay. So the only thing I want to say is I wished I'd have been involved because this one was very important to me. I wanted to address this one more than anything else. So, ma'am, I'll take a roll call.
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Blevins.
Abstain.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
And so I just want to make sure, Trustee Fleshman, are we doing a motion to allow me to send this to Julie? Shall we do
So
that?
if Mr. Chairman, if I can.
Sure.
I'd make a motion to send newly passed resolution number X over, go ahead.
065.
065, over to legal to make sure that what has transpired as far as the writing and corrections of this, if there are any, then we would get those corrections back and we would fix them in another meeting.
I'll accept the motion as stated. Any discussion? Hearing none, when you get a chance, ma'am, give us a roll call.
And is it okay that I send that over?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, and when I do that, I'm assuming you, I should say,
I just want
I
to
agree,
confirm.
I should have mentioned Robin Watkins in my
No, it's fine. I just want to
motion.
confirm.
Sure, yes, thank you for that.
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Blevins.
Yes.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
Thank you for the clarification.
Next resolution, ma'am, when you get a chance.
All right, this is 2026-066, a resolution amending resolution 2025-123 for Ohio Police and Fire pension pickup employee portion at 100% as a French benefit. Whereas the Franklin Township Board of Trustees, Franklin County, Ohio met and duly called an authorized regular meeting of the board and set forth date. Such meeting being duly called pursuant to the notice stating the time, place, and purpose of the meeting, received to all board members. The following resolution is made, seconded, and adopted. Whereas the eligible employee, Robert Arnold, of the fire department participates in the Ohio Police and Fire Pension Fund. Whereas the board has previously adopted a pickup of 50% of the 12.25 mandatory contribution required to be paid under section 742.31 of the Ohio Revised Code for participation employees in the fire department who are members of the Ohio Police and Fire Pension Fund. Whereas the Ohio Police and Fire Pension Fund has adopted new procedures for reporting pickup contributions in order to properly prepare the 1099 forms for its members. Whereas the board wishes to amend its prior resolution 2025-123 in order to continue the pickup under the new procedure Exhibit A. Now therefore be resolved, the effective as April the 19th of 2026, the board has determined to pick up all 100% of the 12.25 mandatory contribution by the employees who are members of the Ohio Police and Fire Pension Fund, Robert Arnold, as a French benefit for paying the contribution on behalf of this employee. Be it further resolved that the said pickup contribution set as a French benefit by the employer and are designated as an employee contribution by state law purposes is being paid by the board in lieu of the said contribution by the employee. Be it further resolved that all former action of the board concerning or relating to the resolution were passed in an open meeting of the board, that all deliberations of the board and many of its committees and resolved in such former actions were made open to the public in compliance with legal requirements including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. And this resolution shall be in full force effective immediately upon its adoption.
I accept the resolution as read. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Trustee Fleshman.
Yes.
Trustee Blevins.
Abstain.
Trustee Fuller.
Yes.
Shall we?
F, ma'am, when you get,
Moving right along. To approve the elected officials' method compensation. This is presented on April the 2nd. Resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board makes a motion to approve the elected officials' compensation for the period of March 1st, 2026 through March 31st, 2026, the amount of $9,625.34. Direct deposit occurred on April 1st, 2026. Elected vouchers 8/6/2026 through 8/6/2026. And there is an exhibit.
I accept I'm sorry, where we at? The motion as read. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Take a roll call, ma'am.
Trustee Fleshman?
Yes.
Trustee Blevins?
Yes.
Trustee Fuller?
Yes.
Motion to approve payroll. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board makes a motion to approve the employee payroll for the period of March 8th, 2026 through March 21st, 2026, in the amount of $315,791.57. Direct deposit occurred on March the 27th, electronic voucher 7/4/2026 through 8/3/1/2026, and there is an exhibit.
I accept the motion as read. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman?
Yes.
Trustee Blevins?
Yes.
And Trustee Fuller?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion to approve accounts payable.
Yes.
Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees, Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board makes a motion to approve accounts payable from March 18th, 2026 to March 31st in the amount of $194,606.59 from electronic payment EC8 vouchers 665/2026 through 8/62/2026, and there's exhibit as well.
I accept the motion as read. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Trustee Fleshman?
Yes.
Trustee Blevins?
Yes.
Trustee Fuller?
Yes.
Thank you.
I think this last one's you too, ma'am.
Yeah, just real quick. I know that at the last meeting,
I'm sorry to be rude, but I have to go and start.
Understand, honey.
Thanks.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
that I had told Trustee Fuller that I would try to get you a contact over at Southwestern City Schools
Yes.
Transportation Department. I've actually spoken to a lady, her name was Andrea. She's actually, I don't want to say that she's not as busy this week, but it's spring break.
Right.
So she answered the phone quite quickly and swiftly. The first thing she asked me is I needed the bus number to identify the bus, which I'm sure you have.
I do.
And so she said for you, I gave her your information, not your phone number and all that, but told her who you were.
Right.
And she said to please give her a call.
Okay.
And so here's her information.
Thank you.
And she said just have her the bus number, then what she'll do based on the bus number, she will then be able to connect you to the route supervisor for that particular bus driver.
Okay.
So I don't know,
Well, I
John, if you were
appreciate that.
interested, I don't know if you have any issues with school buses in your area, if you would like to have this
I
contact.
would. I think that would be great. Is that an extra for everyone? Everyone
Yeah, I
has
mean,
one?
I can get the chairman one, but I just know that the two of you had had
Yeah.
conversation openly here at the board
Yeah.
table of your concerns about the school
You wanna
buses.
move
so
on,
that's why I wanted to
okay?
make sure you both had that.
Thank you so much, Robin. I appreciate that.
And that's it, sorry, that's all I got.
Okay.
That's it, sorry.
We have our last two public people still here. Would you like to have anything to say, ladies? Carol? Okay.
Our room
yes,
was
ma'am.
packed when we
Oh,
started.
it was a great night, man. We're really doing better. I was thinking 9 o'clock,
It has
so.
to be witching hour for some,
Brenda, did you have anything, ma'am?
I do
Updated?
not.
John?
Just quickly, I would like to bring to the board to consider us moving the summertime back to noon for the meetings at 1. Of course, we got the chief still here at going on 8:30 at night. If we could talk about that at another meeting.
Ma'am, can you make something to put, a note to be on the next
Yep.
agenda?
Yep.
How's that?
That's good.
Okay. Is that it, sir?
That's all I got.
I don't have anything for the sake of time. I really didn't have anything, so let me read this and get us out of here. Motion to approve the audio and video and meeting summary as the official record and minutes of today's meeting. I'm making a motion. I'm asking for a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Can I get a roll call?
Trustee Fleshman?
Yes.
Trustee Blevins?
Yes.
Trustee Fuller?
Yes.
And then lastly, our next meeting will be on Thursday, April the 16th at 6 p.m. We are adjourned at 20 minutes after 8.
some cushions for these seats. My bum's hurting.
Oh, I wouldn't even have been able to get up in the day.
I apologize.